Today's show is sponsored by Supreme Whiskey Stones, an LEO business specializing in the best whiskey accessories to protect and serve your favorite pours. From whiskey stones to custom laser-etched glassware, they take pride in what they do and love making their customers happy. Check them out on Instagram at Supreme Whiskey Stones, at supremewhiskeystones.com, or through the various military and first responder organizations they sponsor. Cheers! You ready to go, or are you still eating chips?
I won't eat them during the show.
Hello everyone, my name is John Edwards. With me as always is Zeke Baker, and together we make the Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, thank you for making us a part of your day. Say hello to the folks, Zeke Baker.
Hello.
You had to think about that one for a second.
Well, I got torn. I had three things raised to my mind, and when you're ADD, it's tough, John.
I do have to say, I can't see your lip anymore. I want to, you're kind of getting the whole walrus thing going on.
Hey, look, it's growing out well. I do think I need to look into like some kind of oil or something. Like some morning, especially as cold as it is, it's just very coarse and...
I have some. Do you want to take some home?
I need my own scent, I think.
I mean, I'll give you a scent I don't wear. That way we won't be twinsies.
Is it, what's that stuff called? Jabu or something?
No.
Man, there's something, I don't know. A buddy of mine had some cologne one time. I was in a pinch and had to borrow it, and I stunk so bad I had to shower.
Oh, no, it's just beard oil.
Oh, okay.
It's beard oil, and then I get a cedarwood beard comb, and then you put the oil on the comb, and then you brush it through your beard.
Interesting. Well, my other thought was, because I think we're going to start selling CBD oil at work, was taking that and see if it calmed it down a little bit.
The other thing I do, and I shouldn't admit this, but your kids' shampoo has the detangler stuff in it. They always do the...
I don't want to know where you use this, John.
No, I sometimes I put my kids' shampoo on my beard. I
hope that's it.
I get the no more... My beard gets no more tears.
It still gets tears, just like my mustache does. Trust me. We may not want to admit it, but people are shedding tears here.
Yeah, at night when we're in the fetal position and nobody sees us.
Oh, we're not shedding tears. Other people are.
It is a great day. It's been a very long week for some of us. I did have a sick kiddo this week. It kind of stopped our ability to get together, and a couple people were in town I wanted to see. So big shout out to Whiskey Grab. I will see you next time you're in town, Mike. But kids come first. Got to take care of the kid. I just felt bad. She had a cough all week and a fever, so my wife and I were taking care of her, and I wish she was feeling a little bit better, but I'm glad she's on the mend now. We're back to normal. We had a day. I spent a day with her watching unicorn shows on Netflix, so that's all I got a bunch of unicorn shows this week. It was good times.
Hey, I mean, this time of year, there's plenty of people out there chasing unicorns. You just had a normal day.
I know. I never go chasing waterfalls, though. I was chasing unicorns on the TV, but...
As cold as it is outside, I wouldn't even stick to rivers or lakes right now. My feet are on solid ground. It's 7 degrees.
I did see a rainbow yesterday.
On whose back?
Anyways, speaking of going on a journey, why don't you go on a journey with me today, Zeke? And let's drink something that we don't typically drink. And we were lucky enough to get sent from the distillery, Compoveda Extra Anejo. It is a tequila. And there's a funny story about this that I didn't know until after we got it sent to us. Their PR people reached out. We started talking, and it turns out it's actually the brother of my friend Kevin, who started Southern Grist, the great brewing company here in Nashville, Southern Grist. It's his brother, Keith, and another family member started Compoveda, and they are part of the owner structure of that. It's kind of awesome. It's got a Nashville tie.
Yeah, that gives a little uniqueness.
It gives it a lot of uniqueness.
Although it does not come from Nashville. Let's make sure everybody knows it. is genuine tequila.
No, and Keith doesn't live in Nashville. So this is actually from Mexico. It is 100% anejo. We don't know, and Zeke probably drinks more mezcal and tequila than I do, but this is a brand new territory for me, actually sitting down, sipping it, and drinking it. So I am going to tell you before we even start this, most of this, I don't know. I am just going in this with an open mind and a clear palate.
Well, it's a blind tasting without being blind.
Exactly. I'm not used to tequila. It's 40% ABV, 80 proof, 100% agave. It's twice distilled in copper pots. They use an aging system. They put it in 5 years French oak, once California red wine cask, and then they flash age it in a new medium char American oak barrel. So it goes through 2 barrels. Some age on this. I don't know, admittedly, how long you should age a tequila for. I think 5 years seems like it's not young. It's not super old.
Well, I think it's 8 total because this little card says 100% blue Weber agave raised on family farms for 8 years. Oh, wait. That's how long they grew the plant. Never mind.
The plant's 8 years old.
Well, 86 that.
86 prime rib.
Shit.
How was your week?
Like always, busy, all over the place. You know, I'm laughing at the notion of sitting down with tequila, but we're always open to broaden our horizons and see what some folks will throw at us. So
Well,
I'm appreciative of it. And they did come in some sweet glasses. I'm not usually the biggest on stemware type things, but it's just concave enough to where I think it would yield a really good nose for tastings down the road.
Well, what I love about this is when I said we were drinking tequila, you not only showed up ready to drink, you brought chips and salsa.
Well, yeah. I mean, got to do things right around here.
What else did you have before this? Was it enchiladas or?
Yeah, I'm big 3 chicken enchiladas with green sauce. That's my go-to.
So you're primed, you're ready to go.
I don't need the rice, I don't need the beans. Just give me a la carte and let's go to town here.
I'm a big fajita guy.
I get those a lot too, but I just waste so much because I don't eat any of the window dressings.
I just don't have the onions, but I'll put peppers and...
Yeah, but all the stuff on the side, all that big rice and bean and the lettuce, and it just gets thrown away every time.
Well, that's why you're skinny and I'm not.
Well, on that note, let's hope this tequila does not make either of our clothes fall off.
So I have nothing to say to that. All right, you go ahead and go first. Let me compose myself.
This was interesting. When we first cracked the sample bottle and poured it, there was just like an initial punch of tequila, for lack of better words. We've all had plenty of shots over the years at various situations. And there for a second, I was kind of like, ooh, what are we getting ourselves into here? Is this going to be like some bottom shelf Cuervo or, bar mat shot kind of stuff? But that really dissipated and just went completely away. Once that passed, I really seemed to get somewhere in the realm of like salted pecans or almonds covered in syrup, some type of cherry oak wood type thing. It was very unique. Definitely, like I say, some type of... There's light saltiness that you would expect with tequila in general there, but the nuts and the wood and the whole profile mingle well together. I mean, like I say, nosing it now, there's still just a saltiness that I think is inherently there with tequila. But beyond that, I really enjoy the nose that comes off of this. Granted, it's wintertime here in single-digit weather, but in the summer, this would be very nice and aromatic.
Well, just give it a couple hours because it could be 60 at one point and then come back down to 10.
Maybe a little honey or something in there, too. It ranges a little bit.
What did you get in the taste?
Palate-wise, I thought that it was sherry over tequila, if that makes sense. I mean, the underline was there, but definitely a strong, sherry-type finish, I thought. Put down Twizzlers, a brandy, maybe strawberry shortcake, and just enough warmth towards the back just to notice you had something with a fair amount of alcohol in it. Not off-putting, not overwhelming, but it was there. Moving towards the finish, and to me, for just somewhat generically, it really reminded me of something that was that Pedro Jimenez sherry cask finish type stuff. It just has a trait that you can pick up in anything that has that. Beyond that, it was somewhat fruity. I thought it could be like some type of ocean spray, or if you blended some ocean sprays kind of thing, just that kind of tart and fruit. Then I had thought about these candies I have in my desk at work. Chewy Lemon Heads, the Berry Awesome variety. Sorry, I had to get somebody to text me that. Thanks. But really, like, I had some today, and it's pretty spot on, I think, for what I get out of this. The finish hangs around in a very nice way, a nice linger. Again, I would attribute that to the cask finishing. You know, I think in this usage, the time that it was in there and the French oak and red wine, it does a really good mellowing with the tequila and a nice balance, but neither one are off-putting. To me, it would seem like, you know, somebody was in there thieving this periodically and seeing where it was and making sure they pulled it at the right time, so that there really was a good, you know, yin and yang of these two profiles together for a nice mingling.
Well, I think Zeke is going to put me to the test with editing this week and his ums. But I'm hoping that by the time you listen to this, all of that is out and it sounds pretty awesome. But I'll still leave this in here. I tend to agree with you, though, on a lot of your notes. And I'll kind of cut mine down because I don't want to peat and repeat. But
You got peat in your notes? I didn't get any Scotch or peat.
No. I didn't get the Berry Awesome Lemon Heads, but the nose, I got a fair amount of agave, caramel, maybe a slight oak in there. I couldn't get over the complexity of the taste. There was caramel, slight spice. It was kind of like a cinnamon to me that tingled your lips. But that candiness of it, there's like a super sweet maple syrup. It's like something, I've used this before, and lest the comment section goes crazy on me, I could almost pour this over pancakes. And to get that from a tequila, I've never really had that. It almost had a slight bit of like rum characteristics in that way for me. The fruit and the wine definitely comes through. I can tell it was aged in the red wine barrels. I got that fruitiness, especially on the finish. It was a sweetness and a fruit and the oak and agave linger. But it's not like a dry-lipped finish that you would get from some wine. Mm-hmm. It was definitely more of the sweeter aspects of it. I couldn't believe how complex, but how much of an easy drinker it was. And I know it's 80 proof. It's not, you know, a higher proof. For us, that's kind of a nice, refreshing change, as we've talked about before. I really liked it, but it's almost like one you could sit and have a cigar and sip on this. It was, I know their whole thing is on sipping tequila, and as they give you the stationery that they write you a note on, it says sip tequila. But it's I've never had a tequila that I've really sat down and sipped like this. Everything else has kind of been shots when it's 1 or 2 in the morning and I shouldn't be taking shots anymore in my younger days. But it was very enjoyable.
And interesting you mentioned that lack of dryness. I didn't really think about that, but both products on their own you would expect dry from. You know, red wines, at least the few that I've had, most of those are a dry finish. Tequila is normally very dry at the back end. Neither of these are. I mean, it's a sweet and mellow that just kind of hangs around nicely. It's interesting. I didn't get that note, but I like it.
Score 1 for the big cat.
Yeah, no, you said that. I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. But if you put either one of those together, you know, on their own, what you would expect is just dry, kind of lightly parched, especially tequila.
It's super unique. I haven't had a tequila like that.
So some years ago, when I lived in Arizona, I went on a 5-day trip, originally San Diego, then spent a few days down in Puerto Nuevo, I believe it was called, it's down on the peninsula.
Yes, that's the new port.
Hey, look, dude, me and the languages, you know. At any rate, they had a lot of little shops, I guess their version of a flea market type thing. And all these you'd go in, it'd be like these big tents and stuff. And all the shop owners, you know, had their own home blend tequilas they would give you. You know, they want to get you a little buzzed, entice you to buy stuff. It was twice as sweet as this. I've still got a little bit at home somewhere. I'll find it. Because as we're going through the shops and they're like, you want to buy this? You like this? You like this? And finally I got to the point where I was like, I don't really care at any of the stuff you have in here, but man, if you'll sell me all that tequila, I'll take one right now. And he's like, kind of looks at me funny, and he's like, I guess in his mind, probably trying to think of like a price that he could, you know, charge me to make his cut. I don't remember what it was, honestly, unless he would have come back with a large amount. I was buying that as my souvenir for the trip, obviously.
And after all that tequila, you didn't really care what the price was.
But it was super sweet, almondy, nutty like this. No salt to it whatsoever, no kick. I mean, just, so good. I don't know if it was even real tequila or they did something to, doctor it up and tell you it is, but there's alcohol in it. It's super sweet, is all I know. But this definitely gives me a fond memory of that.
Do you know what the proof was?
No, honestly, it's in a random green decanter with a screw cap. I've got it at home in the very back of the bar. I mean, this was 8 years ago, probably.
So Zeke's got some Mexican moonshine.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I need to try some of that. I bet it's like 30 ABV.
It's light. I mean, you can tell it's light, but it's just so sweet and easy drinker. Like, I had to hide it for myself because I just wanted to keep it as a souvenir, but...
Well, one other thing I should mention about this before we get into our final verdict is they partner with Isla Urbana and they're bringing rainwater harvesting systems to Mexico. So $5 from every single bottle of this is going to go to them being able to harvest rainwater and turn it into usable water. And they're doing that around Mexico. It's an NGO. The flip side of that is that each one of these bottles is $175. You can get it at siptequila.com and actually get it shipped right to your door. That being said, Zeke, would you spend $175 for this?
On my own and just to have for random bar use? Not so much. I mean, as you mentioned earlier, I do like some mezcals, and I've got 2 or 3 of those at home opened. And I mean, it's maybe a handful of times a year that I just have that hankering to get into it. Albeit I do have, a group of a couple of guys that were pretty good friends, and 2 of us love tequila, 1 not so much. So the 2 of us obviously love to drink tequila when all 3 of us are together, since we both love it and he's a not so mucher. Hypothetically, if we were all getting together for a weekend or even a night and going to have just a guy's night out and catch up and enjoy a few pours, I wouldn't have a problem with it. When you get together with your boys, it's few and far between these days. You want to have something nice, and you don't have to spend money, but I think inevitably we all do. When you spend a little extra and you're going to like this. We got a nice bottle. This falls in that realm, and if it was a Friday or Saturday and the following day it was gone and we all had a hell of a time, great. I mean, I wouldn't have any qualms over it. And I would know that the best part to me would simply be the one that does not like tequila would have to just give us that go F yourself look of pour me another one. I like this one. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I think especially for a whiskey drinker, this is a very accessible tequila for a whiskey drinker to sip and enjoy. Some people are going to have this over ice. Some people might have it neat. I definitely wouldn't mix this, but that's just me. I'm with you. I'm a bottle share. If I had the disposable income and I had $175 where I could go get it, I probably would. But other than that, I think it's one that would really be surprising. And the fact that you knew about it and just said, hey guys, I got something that's probably going to blow your mind that you wouldn't expect it to, and it's not going to be like other tequilas you've had. Go ahead and try this out.
Yeah, no, maybe we should look into getting one of these for February, but somehow blind it and just have it on the table.
Ooh.
That'd be fun.
I would be super interested in doing that because we could have this on the table, and I bet you somebody would say, "What's this finished in?"
Yeah,
it's whiskey finished in something. What is it?
No, I like that idea.
Yeah. Well, on that note, please go ahead and find us on Facebook at Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Join our Facebook group, answer a couple questions, come on in, hang out with us. Everyone's doing it. Find us on Twitter at Bourbon Dads, on Instagram at Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Find us on your favorite podcast provider. Please leave us a 5-star review. Tell us why you like us. Zeke, where else can the folks find us?
Always in Nashville, Tennessee, and I think we forgot to mention it. Sorry for being at the back end. But anyone out there that listens that also does thoroughly enjoy tequilas, this is really good, and the price point is not cheap. But we all have our vices and things we enjoy besides whiskey, and if tequila is your jam for that extra special thing in your life, I would give it a strong consideration, honestly.
Agreed. Cheers.
Ciao.